Hey, what's up, guys? Working on the neutrino video, but having a lot of trouble on Movie Maker. So instead of just getting frustrated, I'm just gonna post it on here on screen recorder like I'm using now. But I'm not quite done with it, so I'll post that as soon as possible. And one thing I want to say about neutrinos and how I've understood it. Um, Crude oil has to be processed into gasoline before you can use it in your car. And raw energy has to be processed into neutrinos before Saturn, the machine, can use it as fuel. Now, raw energy can come in a lot of different ways. I believe as human beings, our fear, anger, depression, um, you know, these negative emotions are a type of raw energy that can be processed into fuel for Saturn. And yes, death can be used by Saturn and is used by Saturn through sacrifice. But, you know, the cow can be milked hundreds and hundreds of times before it's used for beef. So, you know, why kill off your fuel source? But there will come a time when that's the only thing left it can do. When it reaches, the apex of what it needs this energy for, it will no longer need us. It won't need all of us anyway. And that's when I believe the population will be drastically reduced. Just like on the Guidestones, we all know about that. But this great harvest is not yet to come because they still need our emotions. And this is only one way that Saturn uses us for fuel. You know, there are other ways to create neutrinos through radioactive decay, which just takes time, and through nuclear atomic reaction. Okay? Now, science tells us that radioactive decay and nuclear reaction are the only ways that neutrinos are created, but I know that our feelings and emotion are a raw energy source for Saturn because they put too much effort into making us feel these different ways. You know, the matrix, which is the combination of time and the media influencing people to think and believe certain things. That's the matrix. I don't believe that we're sleeping somewhere and we're living in a dream. This is very real. But the matrix is created through, how media makes millions of people think, feel, and believe. So that's our matrix. So this machine is being fueled and is constantly creating the fabric of time. Now, can you imagine how much energy that takes? So, that's what all this stuff is about. This constant pushing and pulling of human beings and constant meddling around with nuclear reactions and all these different things they're messing with. They are constantly fueling something that is actually creating the fabric of time. And just like when you're riding down the car in your car and your fuel injection sputters a bit, it kind of jerks you around. Imagine when Saturn's fuel injection sputters a little bit and the fabric of time is disrupted. You're going to have anomalies. Weird things are going to happen. And those things happen all the time because that thing is far from perfect. Mistakes are going to be made. So, just food for thought. I prayed, for understanding on these things, and that's what I was given. So just food for thought on neutrinos and a way to understand it a little better. Okay, so I'm looking at the news the other day, and I see this logo. Alright, you see this portion of the logo that shows the globe. What they're showing you here is, why are they showing you this part of the world? This is an American company. Why not show North America? But they're showing you the Fertile Crescent. This is modern day Lebanon, Israel, Jerusalem, most well known for. Iraq, farther to the east is Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Besides the oil, forget about the oil and the heroin, which we know they're out there messing with and taking to fund their constant, I don't know what you can call it, their constant nonsense. There are areas of massive amounts, enormous amounts of nuclear atomic energy out here. Not in the way we know it, but natural atomic nuclear energy. Ley lines, we all have heard about that stuff. Well, this area has that stuff going on. That's what these guys are really out there doing. And that's what the Phoenicians were doing when they had their empire here. It wasn't just about the ports, it was this area here. Massive power sources out here, and they're trying to tap into those now. Well, really what they're trying to do is take this area back, run everybody out of there so they can do what they please without everybody seeing. But yeah, this is ancient Phoenicia here. Out of Babylon came the tribe of Dan, which were the Phoenicians. Okay, when the Phoenicians were ran out of here, they left. They went into Denmark and Ireland, and they became the Celtic Druids. From there they became the Vikings, and they were always known to be sailors. But they created systems of the numerical systems we still use, financial systems based on fiat currency and gold we still use today. But yeah, that's what they're showing you in this logo, ancient Phoenicia. Okay, now like I said, tribe of Dan right here, Mount Hermon, Damascus. This is ancient Phoenicia. Okay, now the tribe of Dan, these guys were the Vikings. Well, eventually they were the Vikings, but look at this. Look at the sails they used. Red and white stripes. All right, here's your red and white. So they also used the serpent, and it's no secret what the serpent is. But yeah, tribe of Dan, Phoenicians, pirates, Vikings, Celtic Druids, all the same guys. Alright, so looking back at the CNN logo, what is CNN? Well, C is 3, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, right? So what's NN? Well, let's see what the Phoenicians would say about it. Look at your number 2. It used to look like a Z because it had 2 angles. That's why it was the number 2. So you flip this on its side and you got your N. Alright? So what do we got? 322. What's 322? I can hear you all saying it now. Skull and Bones. 322. Alright? Skull and Bones, the X. Okay? And really what Skull and Bones is this. Okay? The pirates, the sailors, the ones who, sailed the ocean and they they took over areas and they forced their financial systems on other people's. They forced their language on other people's. And these are all systems that we still use today. This is how far the Phoenician grasp goes, because these guys were taking all their orders from the fallen. They weren't geniuses. They were being given information by entities that have been here forever. Okay? Don't give these guys too much credit. They have an infinitely knowledgeable presence on their side. Okay? That's where they're getting all this stuff from. So, Skull and Bones, 322. Alright? In my thinking, 322 inverted is 233. You add those two numbers, you got 555. Right here it is on their coffin, 3rd degree tracing board coffin, 555. It's 15, it's 6. The compass and square has a G in the middle. Everybody wants to know what the G's for. It's not a G, it's a 6. This is what the Father told me. Alright? In Christ's name, when I pray, this is what I was told. That G is not a G, it's a 6. 6 is carbon. The flesh is cursed. We are all cursed. And even after we accept Christ, we're cursed. The flesh is cursed. The soil is cursed. Alright? When we accept Christ, we can carry our cross until our flesh expires and our spirit will be set free into the hand of the Father. That's what Christ does for us, but we still have to suffer in the flesh. Alright? So, 555 on the coffin, 15:6. 555. What is 555? Well, we look it up in the world of circuitry. 555 is code for a timer. Isn't that convenient? Saturn's the god of time. So this thing controls a mechanism that oscillates. Okay? How the 555 oscillates. It spins. Alright? What does oscillate mean? Well, we can look it up. The act of regularly moving one position to another and back to the original position. That's called spinning, turning. I'm not great in physics, but I think it's torque, right? So it turns. That's exactly what Saturn is doing. It's turning the rings. You know, one's going one way, one's going the other. It's creating torque. I hope that's the right word I'm using. Well, when torque is created, energy is created. So it's called oscillation. So what is electronic oscillation? Okay, an electronic oscillator is an electronic circuit that produces a periodic oscillating electronic signal, often a sine wave. Alright? It produces a sine wave. So Saturn is oscillating. It's creating a sine wave. The only difference is it is creating the fabric of time. Alright? Now, it says oscillators convert direct current from a power supply to an alternating current signal. Okay? So that means that this thing needs a fuel source, which is electricity. Alright? And it turns it into an alternating current. So that takes a good amount of energy. Just like with Saturn, it needs a fuel source to create a different kind of energy. The energy that creates time and does a lot of other things. You know, they need a massive amount of energy to open this pit. And remember, this whole time, it has to constantly create the fabric of time. Alright? And mistakes are going to be made. The fuel injector is going to sputter. Anomalies are going to be seen. So, you know, that's really it for today, guys. I linked it together. That's how I saw it. I hope this helps understand any of this. If you haven't accepted Christ, call out and give him a chance.